Not much went right on Capitol Hill this year. America. 2023 was a terrible, no good, very bad Congress. And that's before you get to former Rep. George Santos, R-N.Y. From moment the first session of 118th Congress began in January, we knew 2023 would be an embarrassing year for Capitol Hill. The House quickly burned through 5 days and 15 ballots before handing the gavel to former House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, R-Calif. It was a tense and turbulent time. A harbinger of what is to come. Merry Christmas at least? Kevin McCarthy's rough 2023 McCarthy's election was the longest presidential election in 164 years. By October, McCarthy's colleagues impeached him in an extraordinary vote. McCarthy said many times throughout the year that he would never give up, never bend over. McCarthy finally resigned this month. The last day is next week. The public often derides lawmakers as part of a do-nothing Congress. While this refrain sometimes rings hollow, voters certainly have a case after 2023. This year, Congress has passed just 30 bills that President Biden has signed. 2 of these were bills aimed at preventing a government shutdown. Another was the suspension of the debt ceiling. But Congress doesn't have much to show for its work this year. Sometimes it takes weeks, months, even a year to get anything done here, said Sen. John Kennedy, RLA. Kennedy's criticism was not lost on Democrats. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, D-N.Y. This do-nothing Republican Congress is the least efficient Congress in modern American history. He said, hear from Rep. Chip Roy, R-Tex. I want my Republican colleagues to give me something where I can campaign and say we did this. Growled Roy on the floor of the House. DEMS. GOP both earned major victories and defeated in 2023. Here are the most important election suggestions of the year. In fact, Roy's speech is a summary of the first session of the 118th Congress. Shouted Roy. The vote to strip McCarthy of his gavel could have defined the year. But the only thing that rivaled that was an exasperating 22-day political odyssey in which House Republicans chose among 3 candidates to serve as McCarthy's successor, ultimately settling on House Speaker Mike Johnson. RLA. R-N.C. We have terrible Congresses and great Congresses. You come up with meaningful policies and then you get the most extreme stupidity, said Patrick McHenry, chairman of the House Financial Services Committee. But this is a truly terrible, no good, very bad year for Congress. In her children's book Alexander and the Terrible, no good, very bad day, author Judith Viorist tells us about everything that goes wrong for a young schoolboy. There are parallels between Alexander's frustrating day-to-day sojourn and what's happening on Capitol Hill this year. In art class, the teacher punishes Alexander for giving him a blank page. Alexander objects, saying that he is drawing an invisible castle. The biggest loss